Live from Studio 3, this is Packaging Today with Evelio Mattos, Adam Peak, and Cory Connors. Hey, what's up, everybody? Today is, what is it today? It's Monday, June 19th. It's Juneteenth. Happy Juneteenth.
Yeah. Happy Juneteenth, everyone.
Yeah, 100%, man. How you doing, Cory?
Really good, really good. Been a crazy few days celebrating Father's Day at the Oregon coast with my family. That was fun. That was their surprise to me.
Good
How about
stuff,
you?
man. Yeah, man, just trying to catch up on sleep, you know? It's traveling so much, man, I don't even know what time it is anymore.
You have been all over the world twice, it seems like.
Yeah, it's endless. It's nonstop. Can't complain. You know, it's been great. As long as we get to talk about packaging and help people understand how to use it and how to be more sustainable and how to be more creative.
Yes.
I think we're winning.
Yeah.
So what do we got going? We didn't really plan a lot for this show. There's a lot going on, but I don't know. Like I just recently posted something on edible packaging, right? Like somebody was, people are like, well, isn't edible packaging better because you eat it, you consume it? It's, there's no waste, but it doesn't make sense. And then this morning, there's an article. It says edible packaging market to reach. And I don't know why they write it this way, but this is the way they wrote it. It's going to reach 1,416 million by 2030. Wouldn't that just be like 1.4 trillion? That's just my basic math skills here. But it's supposed to reach 1.4 trillion by 2030. Who's doing edible packaging? Yeah. Oh no, you're right. Billion. See, basic math. I typically don't do math in public.
It's hard.
I do it in public for that reason.
I don't. I know that the team at Notpla is doing an amazing job over there.
Yep.
I don't know if they consider seaweed packaging to be edible.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why they think of it like that. Yeah. I like the concept of the edible liquid pods for races and for drinks. I think that's interesting. Yep. Maybe even as an ingredient in a dish. But I don't know that edible boxes is our future.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. It says like, it says key insights here are that people's increased hectic schedules is leading to a growing need for convenience products, such as ready-to-eat meals and on-the-go snacks, which come in edible packaging, right? So if I go to the grocery store and I was to grab like a Cliff bar that came in edible packaging and I just grab it off the shelf and I'm expecting to feed that to my kid or to myself, like that's disgusting, like you would typically, even with fruit, you get fruit and you wash it, right? What are you gonna do with this packaging? You can't wash it because it dissolves in water.
It doesn't make sense to me, to be very honest with you. Yeah, I don't understand it. You need packaging for your edible packaging that isn't edible, which defeats the whole purpose. So maybe somebody could come on and explain it to us how this would make sense, how this could be possible. I understand compostable and all of these things that makes sense. That works. But edible, we're pushing that limit here.
Yeah, it doesn't quite fit into the idea here. I know the guys at Notpla, Pierre Pallier, he kind of explained how when they were doing races and they were doing like basically Gatorade type liquid filled seaweed pods that you would take and you can just eat the whole thing.
Yeah.
That everybody that was handing them out was wearing gloves. Right. Like you had to be, you just had to be really sanitary about it because somebody was going to grab that and actually consume it. So, you have to be careful how you're providing that. In the article here, it says that they're talking about in September, EvoWare announced an expansion of its product to launch by launching Elo Jello cups. They were made from seaweed and it enhanced the taste and texture of Jello. That can be, but you're supposed to consume the cup after you've used it.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not down with eating the packaging.
Yeah.
That to me sounds pretty gross and not the right direction.
Well, and then you think about your example of handing out those at the race.
Mhm.
How many pairs of gloves
Right.
was consumed? How many of those will end up in the landfill because this packaging
Yeah.
was edible?
Right.
I mean, are we just giving one up for the other? I don't know.
Yeah. No, for sure. We got somebody on here on YouTube now. How's it going? Let us know where you're watching from. I forgot to say that. Yeah, anybody that's on here. I know we didn't announce this. Um, let us know. Go ahead and tell us where you're watching from. Um, it's always great to see how far and wide this thing reaches.
It's amazing to me. I'm
Yeah.
fascinated by it. I think we should start talking about maybe some of the events that we've been
Mhm.
to recently and some of the events we plan to go to. Um, Oftentimes people are asking me, where next? Or are you going to
Yeah.
this event? And I think I would love to get input from others as to
Mhm.
where they're going and which events they suggest that we go to.
Yeah, it's a great idea. Um, so where are you headed next?
Next for me is Pack Expo. I don't have anything until September, which is
Mhm.
pretty awesome. Kind of excited for a
Yeah.
summer off. But if there's one event in there that somebody would recommend to me that would really make sense for sustainable packaging, I'd be interested. Uh,
Mhm.
Reach out. I'm excited to present with you and Adam at Pack Expo this year.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much of that we can announce yet, but there's some things in the works that we're excited about with the team over there. I think it's a great show. It's a big show. We all know that, but
Yeah.
it's also
And
a great
where is
place.
Pack Expo this year?
Las Vegas,
Yeah.
Nevada.
So good stuff, man.
Yeah.
We'll be gambling. I'm sure we'll see our man in plastic. Who's that?
JQ.
JQ. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, he reached out to me too. I think
Mhm.
there's some things in the works with him that are going to be really fun for you and me and Adam and him. Something that we can look at to talk about soon. But
Yeah.
yeah, I wish we could talk about more of this stuff in further in advance, but it takes time to get it all set up and approved.
Yeah. No, it does. It certainly does. And just seeing comment here, that you're a graphic designer, you don't have a lot of experience in packaging, hoping to learn to get certified. Um, yeah, I'd say there's not any type of certification that you have to have in order to be a packaging designer, right? I think um, there's a lot of areas that you can go in packaging with graphics, right? You can either be like a production artist, right, where the files are coming to you already prepared. You just now have to break them down and get them ready for print, and then that's when you hand something off to somebody like Cory and be like, "Here's my production files; are ready to go." Right, and
Yeah.
like, let's say it's a cardboard box that's got 4-color printing on it. You've got a litho label on there. You can break that down and get everything layered out properly in Illustrator. Have a print ready PDF, and then if somebody hands that to you, Cory, what happens next?
Then we take it and we make proofs, and we present those digital and sometimes physical proofs
Mhm.
to the customer for approval. And if they approve and double check all the spacing and all the verbiage is correct, then we'll oftentimes do a press check. Where we can take minor adjustments on press for
Mhm.
color matching and final details.
Okay. So then I've prepared my file. I've got it ready to go. I've checked typography, make sure that there's no typos. Um, and then once I've given that to you, you're going to do a digital proof, which is basically what? Like, is that going to be a PDF? Like, explain a digital proof.
Yeah, it's a PDF that
Mhm.
shows the final 2D version of your artwork,
Okay. So, like, flat on a die line.
flat on a die line, and it's your last opportunity to confirm spacing, confirm verbiage, confirm gapping, all of
Mhm.
the things that make packaging stand out on a
Yeah.
shelf. Um, and it's incredible to me how many times at that stage we catch things,
Yeah.
and oftentimes, big
The
errors.
critical things. Yeah.
Yeah, like
100%.
a story of mine that's one of my favorites. That thankfully it wasn't my job that I ran, but somebody on the front page of their annual catalog spelled catalog wrong. And this happens.
Yeah. All the time. You see it so
Remember,
much
yeah,
that
remember
you
the
don't even see its
time
typo.
Evelio emailed me one time and said, "Hey, dude, you spelled Landsberg wrong on your LinkedIn page." And I said, "What?" So this kind of thing happens, and we need to have another set of eyes look over your artwork.
Yeah, 100%. Do you then, so you do a flat PDF proof. Do you do a 3D where you assemble it into a box so that they can see where all the how
Yes,
the panels come together as well?
that's a common request, I think. And that is some really good advice. You can do that yourself as a
Yep.
designer. You can print it out, cut it up, and fold it up to see which panels the art lays on, because that's really good advice. I think
Yeah.
we should do like a
Yeah,
tip
like
of
how to
tip
do
of
it.
the week kind of
Yeah.
thing. That'd be fun.
Yeah, and if you're using, and if you use like Packdora.com, like go to Packdora.com, they get, you type in what size box, bag, whatever construction you want. It'll create a die line. You can actually do your artwork in that file, and then it'll fold it up,
Mhm.
right? And you can spin it around, and then you can throw it into like 3D environments that they have in there. So you can
Amazing.
do like a photo shoot for the pack, but it's great to be able to rotate it and see where everything aligns, make sure that you're not missing artwork when it gets wrapped around, that you have enough
Mhm.
bleed so that you don't see like a white area. That stuff's really critical.
Yeah.
And then you're asking like, what do we recommend you put in your portfolio?
Hmm.
So if you're focused on design, right? So there's a couple areas you can go in design. One is production. Then two is like actually visually creating the packaging. And typically visual designers in packaging are getting the structure from the brand or from a structural designer. Um, I started in I started as a graphic designer. I did visual, I did all the stuff on the packaging, and then once I saw the die lines coming in, I wanted to create the boxes themselves, and then I got into structure. And once I got into structure, I kind of left graphics behind. I still do graphics, I still do production, I still all that stuff, but for me, it's all about like the structure and building really cool stuff,
Yeah.
and getting like the functionality there. But if you're like really if you're a packaging designer, then what do you want to include in your portfolio? I think like what would you want to see, Corey? Like what would you want to see communicated in a portfolio to show that somebody understands packaging?
I think it's important to design a full line of
Mm,
packaging. So not just a chipboard box, but translate that into a bottle, or
mhm.
translate that into a corrugated shipper, or translate that into a point of purchase display,
Yeah.
to see the full line, how the colors match up, how the full system works together
Mhm.
in harmony to show and to sell that product for the customer.
Yeah. I'd say, yeah, I agree with you. I think the important thing is that what you want to show in your portfolio isn't, um, you know, like like this is the spec right stuff, right? It's like, it's not just this piece that you've designed. It's why you've designed it in that
Mhm.
manner. Why is the logo as large as it is? How does it look? Yeah, in a different format. Um, and even like, how does it look on shelf? Like I would go, if it's like a food product, go to the grocery store, take
Right.
a nice picture of that aisle, and then just Photoshop your product in there, or build your own product and then go put it on the shelf, take a picture of it, right? So you can see how it competes.
Right.
Like that's what I rather see in a portfolio versus like a really beautiful picture of or a beautiful rendering of a pack.
Mhm.
And the reason for that is if you go down like, Behance, if you go through like the Behance website and look at packaging, there's a ton of beautiful packaging photos and renderings, but is it actually going to sell the product? Like that's what people care about is,
Right.
does this packaging sell the product? Um, and if you're thinking, all right, you're saying you think about food, drinks, beauty, then 100% take that, build it, go put it on a shelf or take a picture of a shelf, put it in there because you want to see how competitive your packaging design is to what else is on shelf.
Mhm.
That's what people really care about because when somebody's going to hire you, they're going to hire you to be competitive, right? They're not going to hire you to design beautifully, right? Which sounds weird. Like we all want beautiful packaging, and
Mhm.
um, but it's like, how does it stand out? Like if you were to look at the Liquid Death water can, it's not like a
Yeah.
beautiful design, but when you put it on shelf against all the other water, all the other drinks, it stands out and it competes and it speaks to a specific audience. So in that case, it's like a really competitive pack, and it really sells that product.
Brilliant marketing. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So you're asking like, what should you put in your portfolio? That's what I'd put in my portfolio. Competitive examples of packaging, and then be able to tell that story. Be able to, if you're getting an interview and walking somebody through the portfolio, or if you get a chance just to put like a couple, like a couple lines of text in there, is like, this is why I made this decision. Here's how it competes. Here's the difference in, a competitive analysis. We want to make sure that you're thinking again competitively. Like this is the competition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're fighting. You're a fighter, and I think we talk about this a lot,
Yeah.
and how you are somebody's going to win, and somebody's going
Mhm.
to jump off the shelf
Yeah.
on this into the consumer's hands, and if it's your product, you get to keep your job,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's it's cutthroat, but it's true. Packaging is hard. It is so hard, and
Yeah.
it is so important. I think a lot of times we don't remember that. We don't focus on that enough. How
Yeah.
important all of this is. How it's worth hiring somebody like Evelio Mattos, who's going to take your brand to the next level. I mean, seriously,
Yeah.
and people aren't understanding that. Oh, I could get this done on Fiverr for $10,
Right.
and well, sure, you can get it done, but can you get it done in a way that it will sell?
Yeah.
That's the difference.
No, 100%. And I think I spoke to Danielle Beal um, from the Pack. Oh, I can't remember what her company was, but it was the last episode I just released. Um, and what they do, and Jess Williams from Communal Creative, like they do this as well. Is like once they design the packaging and they know who the target market is, they basically put together a basket of products. Right.
Yeah.
So when this person is shopping, when this person's walking out of the grocery store, what are the other products that they're buying? And
Hmm.
how does this packaging correlate to that packaging? Because you're not competing
Hmm.
in the basket, right? So if you're
Fascinating.
right, like if you're buying cosmetics and everything you're buying is like Peter Thomas Roth and Dry Bar, and it's like really clean design, and then you've got this
Hmm.
one product that's like, super clowny looking. I don't know, right? And you put it in that same basket.
Tie dye. Yeah.
Yeah, it stands out as like something in here doesn't belong,
Hmm.
right? So that was like something that was really interesting. I've never done that,
That's
but I think
fascinating.
it's amazing part of the
Like
process.
a consumer will have an aesthetic that they're trying to
Yeah.
work around. Like Mob Beauty is like very tan, very
Mhm.
either black or brown, and that's their aesthetic, and
Yeah.
it's just beautiful, clean. But some people, I've seen some recent beauty brands come out with like totally striking colors,
Yeah.
incredible, and totally different, like you said. So maybe that's a different market, and
Yeah, for
uh,
sure.
they're
Yeah, like
they're trying to reach a different consumer.
yeah. Yeah, like I did some stuff with Urban Decay. Where we did like makeup palettes, and there was one we did one that was like, I don't know, it was like the Pulp Fiction 25th anniversary or something. Like I can't remember what anniversary it was. And it was basically like a remake of Julius's wallet, that said bad MFR on it. Right. But it was kind of like that, and that doesn't fit in the same basket as like a
Right.
Marc Jacobs, palette or fragrance or anything like that. Like they're a different consumer.
Yeah.
Sometimes they do, sometimes same consumer, but usually there is that consumer aesthetic, which I think is funny. People don't really get
Mhm.
into that too much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've enjoyed working with designers for many years,
yeah,
and learning from that experience and being shown what to do and what not to do.
Yeah.
I think that's important.
Yeah, no, and I think if you're, if you're a designer putting together a portfolio, um, like how important do you think it is, Corey, to put in like a sustainable story to the packaging you're creating?
Yeah. Sustainability isn't just a buzzword. It's
Mm,
what's happening in packaging today. And you're exactly right. We need to show how we could convert uh, packaging X to packaging Y that makes it more sustainable. The same product, two different ways. I
mhm,
think that's really important. You could have your high end, retail version, and you can have your direct to consumer, more sustainable version. So things like that are a good
mhm.
way to differentiate your line of packaging, I think.
Yeah, 100%. And our friend Eva Lagarde, one thing she talks about, and she's a cosmetic sustainable expert. She talks about making cosmetics reusable,
Mhm.
but in like a beautiful way where instead of having like just like a standard makeup palette that's out of paper or plastic, like why can't that be porcelain
Yeah.
or, a different combination of metals with jewels, something that can be kept,
Hmm.
reused, and even handed down, right? Like
Right.
she was explaining how her grandmother's compact from years
Hmm.
ago, like she still uses it. One, it's got that like personal connection to her
Hmm.
grandmother, and two, it's like a beautiful piece, this antique compact that opens. You've got a mirror and it's got a space in there, and she puts her little makeup palettes in there um,
Fascinating.
with adhesives, and it doesn't look beautiful in the palette because these things aren't made for that. But the idea of like keeping that pack and
Hmm.
reusing it is, it was something I hadn't really considered. I always thought about like reusable. Yeah, it's like something that you make, you reuse with a certain number of uses, and then it gets recycled, right? But
Right.
no, like this has been used for years and years, so something really, really
Family
cool.
family heirloom packaging. That's a
Yeah.
new thought.
New
Wow.
term, trademarked.
TM. Yeah.
That's right.
I'm
Um,
excited about my episode of Sustainable Packaging Podcast this week
mhm.
with Emily Topaldo from the U.S. Plastics Pact.
Okay.
She's the executive director and one of the smartest people I've ever talked to in my life. She's absolutely brilliant, and what they're doing over there is really exciting. They've teamed up with Walmart, and they announced all four winners for their contest at Green Biz
Mhm.
Circularity 23 last was that last week or 2 weeks ago? I don't remember,
Yeah.
but amazing things happening there. So check that
Wow.
out.
Cool. And so what do they do at the plastics packaging pact?
They work with brands to improve their sustainability and in packaging and
Mm.
in connect them with manufacturers that are doing big things. Like Walmart, they've got this new program where you can log on and you can see their suppliers. You can
Oh.
see they've vetted a list of suppliers for sustainable packaging.
Mhm.
They were frustrated with the amount of cold calls essentially they were getting from people like us that are in the packaging world.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, hey, we have this new unicorn that's going to be the most amazing packaging in the world. It's going to solve all your problems. Well, they were just frustrated with having to go through that. So, U.S. Plastics Pact is helping vet all of those entries,
Mhm.
and before they get to Walmart and their team, to be truly considered as one of their solutions. And then once they're approved, they
Yeah.
offer them to all of their suppliers, all of their the people that sell through their retail.
Wow.
So that way they know that it works.
Yeah.
It's similar to a Costco model where, hey, we know this supplier works. So you use them for point of purchase displays or use this palette. We know
Yeah.
it works. This is one of our allowed packaging,
Mhm.
devices.
Wow. Cool. So then they do the vetting up front,
Mhm.
and are they doing the testing to make sure that it's that it does what it says it's doing?
I think so. I think that's
Yeah.
part of the process. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah. That's
I
cool.
left really really excited about it. One of the winners was called Twist Mist, and it's something that you might want to look at, Evelio, for some of your high-end customers. They are it's a propellant-free aerosol spray, so no chemicals in it. So let's say a sunscreen or some kind of a spray, hairspray or whatever the case may be. They even mentioned food products like non-stick sprays for your cooking. Half of those that have propellants it's chemicals that are you're spraying onto your food or you're spraying onto your body. And they have come up with a way to do this without chemicals and without propellant. And it makes it easier to ship too. I thought it's a really cool design. So stay tuned for that episode as well.
Yeah, sounds cool. Yeah, I know. I was looking at a study on sunscreens, and like the ones that you spray on actually degrade like the elastics in swimsuits, right? Swim trunks, bathing suits. It degrades the rubber in that, like I think it was like 65% faster than just normal wear and tear, which is crazy. So it's basically breaking down the rubbers and elastics and bands in this stuff. So it's breaking that down. Imagine what it's doing to your skin, and not to mention just breathing that stuff in, right? It's like we really don't know what's happening with what we're taking in. So
solving awesome. One problem and creating another. Yeah.
100%, man. So as we start wrapping up here, check out Cory Connors on Sustainable Packaging Podcast, right? They can hunt you down on the TikToks at Corrugated. Right, you've got tons of content on there all the time, teaching people how to be more sustainable. Good stuff. You can hunt me down on LinkedIn. You can find my podcast, Packaging Unboxd podcast. I think we've been doing this for about 3 years now. I just got an episode coming up here this week. 2 episodes are coming this week. One is I'm just kind of breaking down my artificial intelligence packaging design presentation that I'm doing around the world. I'm kind of just giving you like a good feedback. It's like what I'm talking about today and how things are changing. So that'll be like a quick 15-minute episode that'll come out this week. Then also have another one with the team at Giusti out of Modena, Italy. They do balsamic vinegar, and they've been using the same artwork on their packaging for like over 100 and something years. It's crazy. Wow. Yeah. So
talk about pretty cool family stuff. Heirloom packaging. That's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Like they built an entire city, around this brand, and it's amazing. It's good stuff.
Did you visit them in Italy?
I met with them. I was gonna head over and check out their big town, but no, it started raining. I'm like, I'm heading to Spain to get out of the rain. So yeah.
Understand that.
Yeah, man. I'm not traveling to go get in the rain. But you like the rain. You're in Oregon. You love the rain.
Yeah, I'm used to it.
Yeah. You're like, it's no big deal. All right, man. All right, Cory, I'll see you. Anybody that's watching, listening, any questions that you have, throw them in the comments. We're always checking. We're always answering. So have a great rest of the week.
See you next week.
We'll see you.
Live from Studio 3, this is Packaging Today with Evelio Mattos.